Welcome to Frank and Upfront. I am your host, Mr. Franklin. A very special welcome to all of you who are joining me here on this podcast. I invite you to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Today's topic, the poor man's currency. Poverty is a social phenomenon that would inspire any normal person to want to climb their way out of a rut. But as I've said previously on this program, poverty is a false construct created for the sake of population control. Poverty is to boost the ego of those who are above, for they feel as though there is no above if there is no below. So an impoverished segment of the population will even the score in their minds. Then there's everybody else in the middle who are climbing up and who are clout chasing. And they seek to do so at the expense of the poorest segments of the population. The last thing that they want to see is for a poor, humble, righteous man with a good heart and good intentions to climb out of his ruts and start living like them. The last thing they want to do is to acknowledge that this poor, righteous man is living on their level and also on their terms. As a result of that, they become increasingly envious and jealous of the potential of the poor man, and they seek to sabotage him at every turn. Some of these people would even convince you that they're your friends. But how could they be if they're sabotaging your life at every turn? Perhaps the only reason for them befriending you is to get close enough in proximity to you to see what you're doing so they could sabotage it and put you right back down to square one where they think you belong and where you once were. Perhaps that poor man has no financial currency in that moment. But these attempts by members of society to fight him out of the game should compel him as a last-ditch effort to reach for every last resource at his disposal. If he does not have the financial currency, at the very least, he should have social currency. And even if he doesn't have social currency, that leaves one to wonder, what kind of currency does the poor man have? Simply put, his wits. The poor man's currency is his wits, his mind, his understanding. The poor man can use his wits to gain financial wealth to keep gaining and to maintain a certain level of financial wealth. He can also use his wits to gain social wealth. For without respect, it is very unlikely that one would actually find any kind of occupation that would allow one to earn gainfully. It truly takes respect for one to be hired. Not so much academic brilliance, but really respect. How can one use their respect? How could one use their wits and their understanding to move up in the world? Well, the first thing that one needs to do is to understand something very important about people. Everybody is not your friend. Everybody can't be your friend. The law of plurality would prevent that from happening. One has to truly understand that everybody can't be your friend, and everybody's intentions is not pure, and everybody's desire to get close to you is not based in a desire to see you do well. That there are some who actually wants to get close enough to figure out how to bring you down. With that understanding, perhaps one should not pursue social wealth as of yet. Leave that for last. Focus on your survival first. I'm not saying you can't talk to people, but perhaps one should focus on your very survival first. Earning money, paying your bills, saving money first before one focuses on a pursuit of social wealth. Because one cannot be trusted. People can't be trusted as of yet. As you go along, you will find that you meet friends, and instead of rushing into friendships, you get to know people, really get to know them, learn their intentions, and after a while, after you survive some tremendous feat together, then you can be friends. That's how friendships normally develop after a certain age. When you're in kindergarten, I like the red crayon. Oh, I like the red crayon too. I think it's cool too. Let's be friends. Yay. Right? That's kindergarten. After a certain age, the things that one has in common, you will find that it's not really so much of, that's not really the basis for which two people become friends. It is, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, it helps. It helps. But true bonds are developed in the adult world after two people or a group of people survive an extraordinary and tremendous feat together. So if poverty is your enemy, and you find that you and some people you know have the same common objective to defeat poverty and gain wealth in the world, and you put your heads together and start a business or share ideas and bounce ideas off each other and network, that once you make it up to the next level together, you won't even have to think about becoming friends. It will happen naturally. When you find that one day you're friends and you don't even know how you got there, you weren't even thinking about it, it just happened, that's how you know the friendship is real. Anything else besides that, you really have to wonder if someone didn't have an ulterior motive to try to get close to you. I think that's how true friendships are formed. Let me know if you think I'm right in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your take. So one has to have an increased level of discernment and understand that everybody who is being friendly is not your friend. Which brings me to my next point. Sometimes we talk entirely way too much. In Jamaica we have the saying, "Kibba your mouth." If you don't know what kibba means, it means cover. Cover your mouth. It means don't talk. It means zip the lip. Sometimes we tell on ourselves. And if you wonder how people have advanced knowledge of our plans and were able to sabotage it, you now know it's because we told on ourselves. And I understand that there's an urge to impress people, to declare our accomplishments, hoping to be praised for it and to be congratulated for it. But we have to fight that urge. The ego must die. All that urge is ego based, and the ego must die. Now that we know that everybody is not our friends, we must also learn to keep our mouth shut about our next move. The poor man's currency is truly, the very core of his currency is his cognitive understanding that everybody is not his friend, so therefore keep his mouth shut. That is literally it. I could end this podcast right now if I wasn't going to expound on that. We have to learn to keep things to ourselves and fight that natural urge. There's nothing wrong with it, it's natural. But in understanding the reality that we are at war, there's a war against us, against the poor man, to keep that man oppressed, to keep him in a position of vulnerability for which he can be exploited for his labor and his time and perhaps even his money. Well, once you realize that we are at war, and that everybody is not your friend, that natural urge to seek congratulations and praise is no longer okay. Therefore, we must fight the urge. And you know something? We can practice to congratulate ourselves. Perhaps if we congratulate ourselves as opposed to expecting it externally, we could actually help to fight the urge to share our good news externally. Work in private and declare the end results after you're finished. Or perhaps I could take it a step further to say, win in private and have them feel that you're losing in public. That is very, very brilliant. That's the approach you should take. Win privately in private and have them believe that you're losing in public. Be rich but act broke. What does that mean? Your public image should be not too glossy. I'm not saying wear some beat up old jeans either, no. With holes in it, of course not. You could still dress clean as long as it's clean clothes. I don't care if it's a brand name or not. Just keep it simple. Clean and simple. Act like you broke in public. Nothing special really about you. But in private, for the sake of your physical comfort, inside your house is nice, warm, comfortable, nice furniture, nice blankets, everything to keep you comfortable. So you are rich in private, but you are broke in public. That's another currency that the poor man can use to gain a firm footing in this society. That's another way in which he could use his wealth. Another way in which he could use his brain. Seeing as how you know there's a very, very strong and narcissistic desire to take you down a notch or two, or plenty, don't let them on to anything that's going on with you. Be rich but act broke. Have them think you're losing in public when in fact you're winning in private. And what would help as far as preventing you from sharing the good news publicly is to congratulate yourself in private. Pat yourself on the back in private. Therefore, you will not crave it externally if you're actually treating yourself for every new accomplishment. Buy a bottle of champagne. Take yourself out to a nice restaurant. Order up some margaritas at the bar. Maybe go on a mini vacation, travel. Whatever it takes to pat yourself on the back so you feel so good about your accomplishment that you don't need external validation will help to prevent you from sharing good news to bad spirits who have no business hearing that good news to begin with. It really does help. Consider doing so. One more thing before I go. Find people of like mind. Another currency of the poor man. Find people of like mind who you could build with. If you come from a shitty home, the moment you realize that your folks are not good people, then you can't rely on them. That's an opportunity for you to go out into the world. Find good people. Find your tribe. Find people of like mind who are striving towards the same common goal. Those are your allies. You might not be friends as of yet, but I can assure you, those are your allies. Like it or not, you're not going to immediately take to everybody and like their personality and think they're this really great guy at first. Not at first. But for the here and now, they are your allies. Respect that. Work with them. They might be your friends, but they might be your friends someday. They might not be your friends someday. You might move on to somebody else. You might outgrow them, depending on how fast everybody is growing, or if you're going at the same level in life. If you're maintaining speed with the others. But for right now, they are your allies. You still wouldn't tell them everything. You still don't really know or trust them entirely well enough to tell them everything, but you understand that you're not alone, and you know some good people who are not cutthroat in their thinking and who are striving towards the same common objective. it's always good to have a couple of allies in your corner. This is especially true if you're a young person just starting out in life, but even if you're a little bit older as well, this is really a general message for everybody. The poor man's currency, I reiterate for the last time, is after realizing that there's a war against the righteous poor man, and that the only means by which one can gain wealth quickly in this world is if you're done with their wicked, nasty agenda. The moment you realize that, and the moment you realize there is a war being fought against you, you have no friends, or not everybody is your friend, at the very least, you learn to keep your mouth shut, and you learn to not tell on yourself and to celebrate your victories privately. So keep that in mind. Alright, this was a short one today. Next week's topic, the true agenda behind why the media is blowing the coronavirus out of proportion. I hope you'll join me then. I am Mr. Franklin. This has been Frank and Upfront.